Good morning. It's was a brisk 28 degrees this morning as I set out in my hike. Here it's early November in Michigan, and actually starts to become some of my favorite time to hike. You get to go out in the woods. You don't have to worry about sweating as much. You still sweat, but just not like it's been all the previous 3 or 4 months. And there's no bugs. And there's very few people, other than crazy people like myself, who are out here, regardless of the conditions. But anyway, as I was walking this morning, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about probably the most exciting aspect of my adventure, probably the last 15, almost 16 months now, of my 3 years of self-discovery, has been becoming acclimated to the idea of becoming a grandpa. I've had 2 grandsons. Hudson was born in July, just about 15, 16 months ago. Whatever, I'm terrible at remembering those specifics. And then little Lando was just born earlier this year. Both of them are so darn cute. It's been a lot of fun, but I started thinking about, when I first found out that my oldest was was even gonna exist with Matt. When you're a young parent, there's a lot of anxiety that's created. You're really doing a lot of self-reflection of, hey, am I even mature enough to handle another life or keep someone alive? And you're just worried about all of the unknowns because you have nothing to do with it. And I thought it was really interesting because it didn't matter if it was when Matt was born, when Caitlin was born, or when Oliver was born. That same feeling of anxiety exists. I remember laying there, sleeping in the room with Amanda and little Oliver in his bassinet next to us, and I was having a really difficult time falling asleep because I was thinking, oh shit, he's going home with us. It had been so long, almost 18 years since, raising a little baby. There was a lot of stuff that you forget about. And plus, now I was in a completely different phase of my life. Caitlin had just turned 18. Taylor was, I think 16 or 17. So I was used to teenage kids, and we were just getting to that phase of life where they were going to be moving on, and here's this new reality. But this morning, what I was thinking about is how cool it is once you actually do have kids. At first, you're terrified, but then over time, you start to see little glimpses of genetics, right? You get to see that they look a little bit like you. They have some of your mannerisms, some of your traits, even some of your interests. And a lot of that obviously arises because, remember, that first 25 years you're being programmed, and they are being exposed to things that we're interested in through the process of just pure proximity. But those genetics are great. And then later in life, I always got excited as I would start to see the kids kind of picking up something that probably was given to them genetically. And so you see the similarities between you and yourself, but because you have such an understanding of the glaring weaknesses that you have in your approach to it, you can see them in a different light, and you can see them, participating in evolution and actually dealing with those situations better. And you notice that maybe they're really good at something that you really loved when you were younger, and they're avoiding some of the pitfalls that you faced along the way and maybe became victim to. And some of that is from us sharing our consciousness with them and helping them not trip over those obstacles in the road and continue to go in a different direction. But some of it is just pure, like I said in the beginning, it's evolution. It's them looking at the world differently. That's one of the things that's amazing to me is, you look at our kids now, regardless of whether they're millennials or younger, and the way that they interact with other people in the world, And yeah, there's still craziness and stuff like that, but I see that my kids approach the world so much more kinder and gentler than me and my friends did when we were growing up. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, it was really interesting. And I don't think it was bad. It was just different. We hadn't broadened the awareness of the people on the face of the earth as to what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. And I don't even think we were at the point where we embraced being kind to people back then. But it's really interesting. So I love seeing that evolution. I love being able to share the things that I've learned along the way in our greater consciousness. I mean, that's how when we're reading biographies or reading history books or trying to learn the mistakes from, or learn lessons from mistakes that have been made in the past, it's because people are recounting and telling and sharing the experiences that they had along the way and some of the insight that they picked up. So I feel like if we're going to follow the world history in that way, we should definitely kind of engage in that same approach as we're looking at our kids and our grandkids. But to be honest, one of the coolest things besides that is the fact that your favorite people, your kids who became your favorite people in the world, the ones who you love to watch grow up, the ones who you love to watch them experience great things and actually experience great experiences with them. You recognize that your favorite human or your favorite humans have replicated, and now there's more. And if we look at past history, we're going to recognize that not only is there more of the greatest person or one of the greatest people that we enjoy and love and love to spend our time with, but they're going to evolve and they're actually going to be better as well. And some of that's just going to be from us sharing our consciousness and our experiences and guiding them in a way that will hopefully help them alleviate some of the pain, but not all of it, because without pain, there is no strength. So that's all. A little deep this morning, but it's been on my mind and I wanted to share it. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.